I was scammed ผมโดนพวก scammer นะครับ One of the great things about learning languages is that when you get to a level when you can be treated pretty much like one of the locals, well then you also get scammed like one of the locals too. Over the past several months, thousands and thousands of Thais have been scammed, usually by these call centers. It seems that there are Chinese syndicates hiring Thai nationals to go to Cambodia, and then they do this robo-dialing, and they call Thai numbers millions a day. And just by the odds, the people that pick up and finally fall for these scams, often telling them that they have tax issues or they have a parcel that's been sent and they found drugs in it and they have to pay a fine to clear themselves to not have to go to court. Many Thais are finding themselves falling victims to these scammers, and they're often left tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of baht out of pocket. I'm happy to say that I wasn't victim to a call center scam, but it was a scam nonetheless. So make sure you stick to the end because I'm going to show you step by step how the scam worked, the conversations that transpired, and then finally how I was duped and left out of pocket. I'll also show you what the police had to say about it. So this story starts at my daughter, actually. My little 2-year-old daughter, we've been playing a lot of music together, and I've been wanting to get back into recording. Now I have all of my recording gear set up here, but my speakers were broken. I was part of a jazz trio for many years here in Bangkok, and for many years we played at the Foreign Correspondence Club of Thailand. Now in that club we had bought some speakers. This was back in 2000, and we'd set them up there, and these speakers had gone for many years working well. And finally, a couple of years back when our band wrapped up, we sort of split the gear up, and I've got the speakers sitting here. Now those speakers are old and they've broken. And so when my daughter comes in and she's listening to me record, and I've got the headphones on, and I want her to play around with the music and just enjoy playing music and listen to what I'm recording, I can't do it now because the speakers were broken. I thought, okay, I've got to get some new speakers. And being the cheapskate that I was, I wanted to look for secondhand speakers because I felt that I could probably get a good deal. So I went into the marketplace and I searched speakers in Facebook, and I got all of these listings coming up. And so the speakers that I've got, they're pretty big speakers and they have a really nice sound. We can use them also for singing. We have mics plugged in when we have music nights here with the family. So I was looking for some speakers that were about the same size. Also, I have my printers on them, and so they serve as a table as well. And so I saw these speakers here. And so if we look at the ad here, in Thai it says Tulampong, which means speakers, power. So power speakers, Sherman SB603. So I had a look in Lazada, that's our Thai online shopping thing like Amazon. And these speakers can go up to 15,000 at normal price. Often they're on sale for about 8 or 9,000. They're 200 watts. So yeah, maybe a bit overkill for my little operation here. But hey, if they're selling for around 2,000 baht, I wanted them. And so I contacted the seller. And so what I'm going to show you now is step by step how this scammer got my trust in Thai, and how it led to me not only paying for the speakers, but also forking out more money because I felt sorry for this guy. And in the end, I was left with egg on my face. But hey, I got to make this YouTube clip out of it. So you can see it starts off like, สวัสดี Hello, มีสินค้านี้ไหม Do you still have this product? สนใจครับ I'm interested. And so then he responded and he said, ใช่ ยังว่างอยู่ Yes, it's still available. And so he goes on to say that originally he bought these for 7,900 and they're really good. He says, สภาพนี้ราคานี้ลองหาดูได้ So it's in this condition, they're like this, you can go and look for it elsewhere, but they're the real thing. And then he says, มีไมค์แถมให้ So he also has a microphone that he's going to throw in. ยังไม่ได้แกะใช้ So แกะ means to open, so ยังไม่ได้แกะใช้ So it isn't even out of the box yet. I thought, wow, okay. So I thought this must be some musician and he's fallen on hard times and he's needing to sell his gear. And then he took videos of the speakers. Speakers there, they're playing, he's showing me that they're working, plugging it in. And so I thought, okay, well, I want to check them out. If they're Bangkok, I'll go and pick them up and I'll be able to check if they're for real and the condition's any good. So I asked him, อยู่กรุงเทพหรือเปล่าครับ Are you in Bangkok? He responded, Prachinburi. So he's in Prachinburi, which is it's actually outside of Bangkok. Gabinburi ครับ This is the first stage of the scam. So him not being in Bangkok means that it's unlikely that I'm probably going to drive out there. But then he said ถ้าจัดส่ง so if he's going to send them ผมขอเป็นโอนจบเลยนะครับ Could I ask that you just make the payment for the speakers and then he'll send them ไม่เกิน2 วันถึง so if he sends them that way by the courier service I'll get them within 2 daysแพ็คให้อย่างดี he'll pack them really well ไทยบัตรประชาชน so here this is when he says look I'll even take a photo of my บัตรประชาชน which is his Thai ID card and everything you need หลักฐาน now I should have read into this look at this bit it says Thai บัตรประชาชน so I'll take a photo of my บัตรประชาชนให้เป็นหลักฐาน as evidence and then it says ถ้ามีปัญหาSo if there is any problem ยินดีคืนเงินให้คืนเงิน to return money ให้หรือไม่ส่งของดำเนินคดีได้ครับ and if you don't receive the goods you can put a case against me so I thought yeah fair enough now it should have twigged well why would he even say that in the beginning unless he had it on his mind so I said ได้ okay ก่อนโอน so before I transfer the money, could you take a photo of your Thai ID card? Now, obviously that he'd said that here, he's probably prepared it, but then he said, ได้ครับ and then he asked for my details, which I'm blurring out here. And so check this out. He actually took a photo of what I assume is his ID card on top of the speaker. Now, there's something strange about this photo, which just seeing it like that, I thought, okay, great, I've got his ID card, but have a look here. He's actually scratched out the number. He's covered up the number and stupid me, I didn't notice that. So then I asked him, could I add him online so we could, so I could send the slip through to him because I didn't want to send it through Facebook Messenger. He sent the details. He gave me his line ID and he asked me to send the confirmation. And so then I sent it to him. And then after a while, now this is now 8:30 p.m. That was earlier in the day. He said to me, พี่ครับ so he calls me P because I guess I look older than him. Could you read your line? So I went into my Line Messenger app. Line is what we all use instead of WhatsApp here in Thailand. So here's the slip where I transferred the money for the speakers to him. And he's like said, thank you. And then I asked him จะส่งได้วันไหนครับ What day can you send them? วันนี้ครับ I'll send them today ก่อน2 ทุ่ม So well that says 20 นาฬิกา2 ทุ่ม which is 8 p.m. So before 8 p.m., I said, great. And then I said to him, basically, once you've sent them, can you send me a slip of the tracking code and the receipt that you've sent them? Kapum, yes. And so that was, 3:53 in the afternoon, and now it's 7:41 at night. And so then I said to him, มีข้อมูลขนส่งหรือยังครับ? So basically, ขนส่ง means transportation. So do you have any of the transportation details? Now this is where it gets fun. Almost an hour after that, he said, พี่ครับ So it's like saying, excuse me, ขอค่าส่งสัก200 baht. So 200 baht, it's not a lot of money. It's only $6 US because he said it's really expensive and because the price of the speakers was so cheap, then he hasn't got that much money left. He says he doesn't have enough money to pay for the freighting. He said once he's taken those off of them and then เติมน้ำมันอีก so he had to also put petrol in the car to be able to take the speakers to the place where he's sending. And then he sent me this photo of the queue and I thought, okay, well he's in line, poor guy, okay, I guess 200 baht. And so I sent him 300. He said thank you with his little bear here. And then he said ถึงบ้านผมทักไปครับ so once he gets home he's going to message me. And then I asked him ส่งทันไหม Were you able to send them in time? Because I was worried that the place was going to close because it was getting late. เพิ่งเห็นข้อความพอดี I just saw your message. ทันครับ ทัน means basically in time. He made the deadline. He made the closing of the shop. Then I said ขอบคุณครับ thank you. ขอบคุณเช่นกัน thank you, the same, เช่นกัน. So you could say this as likewise. And then he says พี่ครับ so he called me again and he sent me this slip. Now have a look at this slip. Now if you see here the slip, there is a tracking ID here, and then there's my name, Kun Rat. So everyone calls me Jay here. And then the date, and 2045. So I thought, okay, that was around the time that he was in there, and he sent it all to me, and I thought it was all good. Now, what I didn't realize when I just saw it again at a glance. You're not going to read every little bit of it. And so I thought, great, I'm going to receive these in the next couple of days. I'll be able to be playing music, recording music with my daughter and having fun, and all will be good. And actually that night I felt really bad, and I told my wife, look, I bought these speakers. I was originally going to get new ones, but I didn't want to waste the money on them. I saw these there. And this guy, he looks like he's down on his luck. I feel really bad, actually. He's a musician. He's having to sell these speakers that he really doesn't want to part with. And they're pretty cheap. And so we discussed and we thought, look, if you get the speakers, send him some extra cash. Because if he's that hard on his luck, well, and he's selling them that cheap, you know what it's like as a musician too. You want to help him out. And so we thought, okay, we'll get the speakers. I'll send him some extra money as goodwill, just, as a tip, because he needed some help. And then the next morning, I didn't have to wait for that because he sent me a copy of his electricity bill and said, could he borrow an extra 500 baht? And so I've got his Thai ID card. He said he's in Pachinburi. And then he sends me an electricity bill. And even though it's not his name, because usually maybe the house is in someone else's name, it was still in Pachinburi and said that he had this overdue electricity bill. And so he said, พี่ครับ พอมีเงินสัก500 บาทให้ยืม so he wanted me to loan him 500 บาท and then he said วันที่20ผมคืนให้ครับ so he will basically give me the money back, the 500 that he's borrowing, on the 20th. เดือดร้อนจริงพี่ I'm in really dire straits at the moment. เลี้ยงลูก2 คน I'm raising 2 kids and พ่ออายุ74 and his father is 74 years old. แฟนเสียไปแล้ว My wife or his partner died already. ถ้าไม่มีไม่เป็นไรครับ If you don't have that money, that's okay. And so I thought, oh crap, this poor guy. And so I sent him some more money to pay his electricity bill. And then he sent me a photo of what I assume are his 2 children and his father sitting there, again, to sort of stoke the feelings of สงสาร, the empathy in me, the person being scammed. And so there's the slip. I sent him more money. And so I said, on 500 ช่วยครับ, I've transferred 500 to help out. And he said, ขอบพระคุณ. Now notice how he said ขอบพระคุณ. This พระ added to ขอบคุณ ขอบคุณ ขอบพระคุณ. It sort of adds an extra level of respect. And the respect given that I'd helped him out. มากครับผม. And again, ครับผม. He's speaking very respectfully here. วันที่20คืนครับ I'll pay you back on the 20th. And so that afternoon I was sitting thinking, well, let me just check when the speakers are going to arrive, because I want to make sure that I'm here when they get here so I can sort of put them in place. And so coming back to here, have a look at this. This is the original receipt. And if you have a look here, this is the tracking. So Lek Thi Bai said, SSCT 1912022542. And so I put this into the Kerry website to track, and it said that that code did not exist. That's interesting. And then something struck me. 64. And so I said to my mother-in-law, คุณแม่ครับ ปีนี้พศอะไร? Now in Thailand we have คศ and พศ when we're talking about years. If you say the year, say 1974 or 1989, most Thais would scratch their head and not really understand what year that was, because we use the Buddhist calendar here in Thailand. And so it's basically 543 years different. And so this year is 2565. So 65. So it's actually in our time is 2022 in the Gregorian calendar. But in the Thai or Buddhist calendar, it's 2565. But here it says the 17th of July, 64. And I thought, well, that's weird. Why would an official system... And so I said to her like 4 times, แน่ใจเหรอ 64 หรือ 65 ตอนนี้ Is it 64 or 65? And she said, 65 สิ It's 65. And I thought, well, that's really fishy. And if you have a look here, it looks like then this has been scratched out. Now, originally I put it down just that it was a really low-res JPEG, that it had some distortion, maybe when he was scanning. So then I looked here, and if you have a look, this font looks a little different as well. Even the color of the text looks different to this. And then I saw this. ลูกค้า is a customer. Case move. Well, the customer isn't case move. I'm the customer. ลูกค้า I didn't give any company name CaseMove. And so then I came back and looked at this photo that he showed me when he was in the queue of the Kerry Express office, and I looked here and it's actually sunny outside. But this was at 8:30 at night, almost 9 p.m. at night. And why were there so many people there? So what I did was a Google photo reverse lookup on the image, and look what I found. I found that this image has actually been used in news articles and a whole lot of other things, for everything from Kerry Express to just normal messenger services. This is like a stock image of messenger services, and for this time Kerry Express. And he just sent me basically whatever image he could find of Kerry Express, people waiting in a queue, showing that that was him waiting. Stupid me. And so then I thought, well, let me go back to the receipt that he sent me. It says CaseMove here. I wonder if I do a reverse image search on this, or I could do a Google search on Kerry Express receipt CaseMove and see if it comes up. If he found it on Google, well then it's probably going to come up for me too. Bingo, found it. And so if you have a look here, basically he's gone and erased all of this stuff out here. You can see CaseMove and this tracking number is still the same. Now the date here, have a look here. So this is from 62. So this was 3 years ago and the time is different. So he's erased all of this section and just put this in again, a font that's totally different. You can see the resolution of the font is actually a lot clearer. It's not this dot matrix kind of font. He's erased all of this section here and just put the price in here. So when you look at it now, it's a really dodgy scrubbing out of all of the data here and putting my name here. Now it just says transportation there, which aligns with this, but here it says transportation mini. So I guess he was getting lazy and didn't want to have to write transportation again. So he just erased that and tried to set it in a way that it actually fit on the screen and just erased the rest of that out. And there you go. I was scammed. And so I sent him, as you can see here, all of these images saying that I found that these images were actually fake, and he went dead. And so then in Thailand, the cybercrimes division is actually pretty strong. And so I went into the police cybercrime site because it was not that much money, but could you imagine how many people he may have done this to? So there may be many, many other people being scammed by him and he could be making a fortune. So I thought, at the very least, I can just put his details there so maybe he's able to be put on some kind of list or whatever and protect people from being scammed in the future. Yeah, for me, it wasn't that much money, but this could be a lot of money. It could be the last, few baht for some people that they're paying over to this guy, and he's just scamming these people, especially now just after COVID, where times are really tough for a lot of people here in Thailand. And so here I went to the cybercrimes page, and they have a page where you can communicate with them. And I told them the story, and they responded like this. Basically, they told me that they have taken the information, and they also suggest that I go to my local police station or the police station in his area and just give them the details as well to make it official. And then also to put him on this registrar that they have of blacklisted people doing business online in Thailand. And so here's that blacklisted site there. And so his name's gone onto that. Also, they have all of his details there, and the police have his details as well. I don't know what they're going to do with them now, but at least he hopefully won't be around to scam other people. However, and so if you look at Facebook right now on the marketplace, look, I think his ad's actually still there. Yeah, look at that. So this is the original ad from the original scammer, and they're still there. He probably owns these speakers maybe because I don't know where he got that photo sitting on the speakers and testing them out, and he's just milking them for all he's got. You can see the original ad is still here. It's all up there. It's Bluetooth, LED display, USB card, graphic equalizer. And so basically he's pretty much using this same ad, phishing, putting a super low price, and God knows how many people have actually fallen for it, like stupid me, and sent him money, maybe 10, 20, who knows how many people have done this. So there you go, something to look forward to. Learn a language to a fluent level so that you can be scammed like a local, not like a tourist. Now that Thailand has taken down many of the obstacles to enter the country, Tourists are just going up and up and up. There are many people here. So if you are coming, just be aware of scammers. Scammers target both foreigners and locals alike. So always be alert. Don't be a victim. Don't be stupid like me. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you are learning Thai, don't forget to get a copy of my book, Cracking Thai Fundamentals. Join the Unlimited program and you get all of those Cracking Thai in 10 sentences series that I've put out. That's hours and hours and hours of some of the most real Thai you will ever hear, where I break it down to the particles so you can start sounding much more Thai. So jump in there at jacademy.com. Scan the QR code, come and continue the discussion on Discord server. I'm Stuart J. Raj. I'll see you on the other side.